There's a lot of debate at the moment over how much influence certain countries should have over other countries. As I record this video, the United Kingdom is preparing to withdraw from the European Union, and the US president has been accused of calling for regime change in Germany. But this isn't a new thing. All through recorded history, people have been arguing over who really is in charge. One such dispute occurred 680 years ago in what was then the Holy Roman Empire. The Holy Roman Empire was a confederation of many different territories and was much bigger than modern-day Germany. In fact, in the 14th century, it included not just Austria and Switzerland, but also northern parts of Italy. It was called the Holy Roman Empire because it saw itself as a continuation of the old Roman Empire. And in those days, the Church had an important role to play in politics, and this put the Pope in a very powerful position. And then it gets a bit complicated because the situation was so confusing and argued about so many times that even today historians are not completely sure about the exact nature of the relationship between the Holy Roman Empire and the Catholic Church. Okay, so the Holy Roman Empire was this loose confederation of many different states, but it had an overall ruler, an emperor who was in charge of the whole empire. But how was he chosen? He was elected, that's how, but not by the general public, rather by the rulers of a small number of the individual states, and these people were given the special title of Prince-Elector. In the 14th century, there were 7 electors, and they were the Archbishop of Trier, the Archbishop of Mainz, the Archbishop of Cologne, the King of Bohemia, the Count Palatine of the Rhine, the Margrave of Brandenburg, and the Duke of Saxe-Wittenberg. Or the Duke of Saxe-Lauenburg, but that's another story, and quite frankly, this one's complicated enough already. But the convention was that the new ruler was known as King of the Romans until he was crowned by the Pope. So in order to become Holy Roman Emperor, he needed the Pope's approval. In 1314, they had elected Louis of Wittelsbach, but the election was a little bit controversial, and then the Pope refused to crown him Holy Roman Emperor, saying that the wrong archbishop had crowned him King of the Romans. In truth, the Pope had his own problems. He wasn't even in Rome at the time. A series of disputes had resulted in the Avignon Papacy, a period of 67 years when the Pope resided not in Rome but in the French town of Avignon. And that is the dumbed down version of another really complicated story. So he was trying to assert his authority over the Holy Roman Empire, but this backfired. King Louis invaded Rome, declared himself Holy Roman Emperor, and appointed an anti-pope, which basically made sure that the original pope had to stay in Avignon. But things didn't go well for King Louis either, and he was eventually forced to return to Germany. By this time, the whole thing had become this chaotic mess. Something needed to be done. On the 16th of July 1338, all but one of the electors met in the town of Rhens and issued the Declaration of Rhens. And this was a first for the Holy Roman Empire. Up until then, the electors had only met in order to elect a new ruler, but now they had come together to try to solve a constitutional crisis. They decreed that only they had the right to elect a king of the Romans, and by a simple majority vote. And not only that, but they also said that the king of the Romans was automatically Holy Roman Emperor, whether the Pope liked it or not. Not that this solved any problems, of course it didn't, but it did pave the way for the much more important Golden Bull of 1356, which regulated the whole electoral procedure for the next 4 centuries. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to send me a postcard, here's the address. And don't forget to visit my website and follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Also, if you'd like access to special bonus content and help with the costs of running this channel, please consider making a small monthly donation on Patreon.